Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Robert Sports Show. I'm your host, Robert. All right, January 1 was the third anniversary of All Elite Wrestling, AEW. As we all know, January 1, 2019, episode 132 of Being the Elite. There was a video package. Cody Rhodes, Matt and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks, Adam Page headed outside. And as we all know, if you watched Being the Elite then, there was this countdown of the hours until that moment. 1/1/19 midnight Pacific time, and we show them walking to outside there in Tokyo, in front of the Tokyo Dome. They all have their phones out. Hey, it's time. Nothing happens, and then hey guys, something's happening. Cody Rhodes, both Young Bucks, hey, what is this? And it shows a picture of the logo for Double or Nothing. And then and Cody's like, hey man, what do you got? Mine's different. And it shows the first ever logo for All Elite Wrestling, AEW. And that's when AEW was born. For those of you who maybe don't know, the idea of All Elite Wrestling probably goes back to May of 2017, if not really the idea, but where the kind of the groundwork for it. May of 2017, somebody asked Dave Meltzer on Twitter, do you think Ring of Honor can sell 10,000 tickets? At that time, Cody, Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, Hangman were all part of Ring of Honor. Meltzer said no. Cody and the Young Bucks kind of took that personal because they were there. They were building the company up. The end of 2017, December 31st, Cody and the Young Bucks said that they were looking to put on their own wrestling show and they're looking for a venue. January 10, 2018, they announced All In, September 1, Chicago. They sold 11,200 tickets without any matches being announced. Basically, no one announced for the card. Buy rate of 50,000, combination of Fight TV, New Japan World, and Ring of Honor Club. We had Ring of Honor stars, New Japan stars. That's when you got to meet Britt Baker for the first time. The Lucha Brothers are on that. So yeah, it was kind of one of those kind of the groundbreaking moments. And then we had the announcement there, January 1, 2019. May of 2019, AEW and Warner Media announced Dynamite on TNT. January 15th, 2020, Warner Media and AEW announced a contract through 2023 for Dynamite, and then a second show coming. Then during 2021, they announced that Dynamite was moving to TBS, which I get because during the NBA season and other sports, Dynamite got preempted a lot. So being on TBS, it won't get as preempted as much. Dynamite's very first show, AEW Dynamite, was October 2nd, 2019. Since then, there's been 117 episodes, 637 matches. AEW Dark began the following week. It was pre-taped before Dynamite. Dark began October 8th, 2019. It's on YouTube, 123 episodes, 1,158 matches. Dark Elevation began March 15th, 2021. It's been 43 episodes, 412 matches. AEW Rampage began August 13th, 2021, 22 episodes, 73 matches. AEW Dynamite, or Double or Nothing, was the first pay-per-view, May 25th, 2019. There's been 13 pay-per-views total, 127 matches. There was the AEW Women's Eliminator Tournament, which was on YouTube. February 15th, 2021, 4 episodes, 14 matches. So in total, in the AEW 3-year history, 2,421 matches, 1,810 men, 608 women, and 3 intergender, and I've watched every single one of those matches. Revolution, their big pay-per-view in March, has had 2, 2019 and 2020, and we'll have it in 2021 as well. Double or Nothing, there's been 3 of them. All Out, 3 of them, and Full Gear, 3 of them. Since AEW has been in existence 3 years, there's been 4 World Heavyweight Champions. Chris Jericho for 182 days, Jon Moxley 277 days, Kenny Omega 346 days, and currently Adam Page 48 days. The AEW Women's World Champion, there's been 4 of those as well. Riho 133 days, Nyla Rose 101 days, Hikaru Shida, 372 days. And then Dr. Britt Baker, 216 plus days. The AEW TNT Championship has had 7 different title reigns. Cody Rhodes is a 3-time champion. He held it first for 82 days. He lost it to Brody Lee for 55 days. Cody beat Brody for it and held it for 31 days. Darby Allin held it for 186 days. Miro, 140 days. Sammy Guevara, 84 days. And currently Cody's had it for the 3rd time for 11 plus days. The AEW Tag Team titles. SoCal Uncensored. Frankie Kazarian, Scorpio Sky had him for 83 days. The Elite, Adam Page and Kenny Omega, 228 days. FTR, Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood had it for 63 days. The Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, 302 days. And now the Lucha Bros, Penta El Milo and Ray Phoenix, 118 days. And then the TBS Women's Championship will begin on Wednesday with the finals on the first episode of Dynamite on TBS. Pro Wrestling returns to TBS for the first time since 2001. I was a huge WCW fan back in the day on TBS, so I'm kind of excited. And it's kind of neat to have TNT and TBS involved with AEW, just like there was at WCW. We got Tony Schiavone, Jim Ross, Sting. These were the players, Dustin Rhodes, were the kind of the players then as well. So it's kind of cool to see that come full circle, especially with Stinger. I was a huge Sting fan back in the day. This is kind of a cool note. On April 25th, 2019, Tony Khan said he had a 5-year plan for AEW. 1, build up the brand. I think you've done that. Build the roster. Oh, we've done that, especially in 2021 and beyond. I mean, we know we added CM Punk. 7 years Punk was gone from professional wrestling. AEW was able to bring him back. They got Bryan Danielson. They got Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, Adam Cole. The names they brought in, and there's names to come. Johnny Gargano's a free agent. Who else is a big free agent? There's so many of them that, have left NXT, WWE, for whatever reason, either contract expired or they got released. Their talent. Then 2022 is going to be the greatest time for independent pro wrestling. I have a very lofty goal of how many matches to watch this year. In 2021, I watched 8,414 professional wrestling matches. The goal for 2022 is 10,000. So there's so much talent out there. Buddy Matthews, formerly known as Buddy Murphy. One thing that EC3 and Adam Scherr, formerly Braun Strowman, did on the Ring of Honor Final Battle was control your narrative. You get these independent wrestlers who can go from territory or company to company and play the same kind of character. They can control what they do. You got an added, Alex Zane, a Blake Christian. They show up on JD Drake, Limitless Wrestling, H2O Wrestling, Beyond Wrestling. They kind of show up everywhere. They control what they're able to do and go out and do. And JD Drake, he's also on AEW. So it's just an exciting time to be an independent pro wrestling fan. I'm an AEW fan as well. I'm a fan of everything. New Japan. I'll be up tomorrow watching New Japan Pro Wrestling Wrestle Kingdom 16. I watched Day 1 for WWE on Saturday. I watched AEW. I'm in the process of watching Monday Night Raw right now. So I'll do this video. So I'm going to do the best matches of AEW in the lifetime of 3 years of the company. It's a little weird. I'm doing the best 12 women's matches. The reason I picked 12, those are the 12 matches that have been 3.5 star or higher. On the men's side, I'm doing 13 matches. The reason 13, those are the matches that are 4.5 star or higher. There's a ton of women's matches that are 3.25. It was hard to pick. If I cut off at 10, which of those 3.5 matches do I leave off? Same way with the men's. If I cut off 10, that's going to be 3 4.5 star matches. Of the 5 4.5 star matches, which 3 do I leave off? I just, go with them. So we're going to start with the women's. So number 12 comes from Full Gear 2019 for the AEW Women's Heavyweight title. Emma Sakura versus Rio. Rio was a champion. She defended her title. She was able to win. I give it 3.5. Number 11 comes from Dynamite episode number 32, May 13, 2020. It was a fatal four-way match. Penelope Ford, Chris Statlander, Dr. Britt Baker, Hikaru Shida. Hikaru Shida got the victory. I give it 3.5. Now, to me, this match was before Dr. Britt Baker was champion. Shida, I believe, was champion at the time. Very talented, one of the best women's wrestlers on the roster. Chris Statlander, she is an up-and-comer. I think she is somebody that can be kind of one of the pillars of the women's division. Penelope Ford. At this point in time, May of 2020, very green, just kind of learning the ropes. As you'll see as we get closer to the number 1, number 2 spot, Penelope Ford got a lot better, in my mind. All right, number 10 on the list comes Dynamite episode 13, January 1, 2020. It was a fatal four-way match on Dynamite for the AEW Women's World Heavyweight Championship. Champion Rio versus Dr. Britt Baker versus Nyla Rose versus Hikaru Shida. Rio got the victory. I gave it 3.5. Number 9, Dynamite episode 115, December 15, 2021. Serena Deeb versus Hikaru Shida. Again, I'm very high on Shida. I think, again, she's one of the, I would say, top pillars, 4 pillars of the women's division. You know, Britt Baker, Hikaru Shida, Chris Statlander. You could put in that pillar. Ty Conte. You could put in Thunder Rosa. Basically, if you would have picked the top 4, Britt, Shida, Chris Statlander, Thunder Rosa would be my top 4 women in AEW right now. So number 8 was from Dynamite episode 103, September 22nd, 2021, AEW Women's Heavyweight Title. Ruby Soho, forgot about her, versus Dr. Britt Baker. Ruby came in and won the, she won I can't talk today. The Women's Battle Royal for the number 1 contender. Her first night in the company. And that match, Dr. Britt Baker did retain her title, 3.5 star. Number 7 comes from Dynamite episode 8, November 20, 2019. Dr. Britt Baker versus Hikaru Shida, non-title match. This is before either one of the women had the title. Shida got the victory there, 3.5 star. Number 6 comes from All Out 2021, AEW Women's World Heavyweight Championship. Champion Dr. Britt Baker versus Chris Statlander. Dr. Baker got the victory there. I gave it 3.5. Number 5 comes from Double or Nothing 2021, AEW Women's World Title on the line. Champion Hikaru Shida versus Dr. Britt Baker. This is where Dr. Britt Baker won the title. DMD became champion. 3.5 star. That's one of those matches. I mean, 3.5, 3 3/4. It was kind of right there. It was one of the better matches for AEW's women's division. Number 4 came from Dynamite episode 81, April 21st, 2021. AEW Women's Title on the line. Ty Conte versus champion Hikaru Shida. Hikaru Shida getting the victory there. I gave it 3 3/4. I thought it was a great match. At that time, it was the second best match in women's AEW history. Number 3 comes from, third match. Number 3 comes from Full Gear 2021. AEW Women's Title on the line. Ty Conte versus champion Dr. Britt Baker. So basically, you just pull out Shida, you put Dr. Britt Baker in against Ty Conte. Both matches 3 3/4 star. Both matches unbelievably great. 2 of the best women in AEW. Number 2. This one I kind of really was like, can't believe I'm doing this, but I'm doing it. It came from Rampage episode 22, New Year's Eve 2021, December 31st, 2021. A women's tag team street fight. Ty Conte, Anna Jay versus Penelope Ford and the Bunny. This is one of the best women's street fights I've ever seen. I was contemplating between 3 3/4 star and 4 star. It was that good to me. To me, it was the second best women's match in the history. I mean, they had blood where they needed to be. The spots were pretty, I don't say perfect, but the spots were pretty good, especially the hardcore atmosphere that they were doing, tables and ladders and or tables and chairs and stuff. It was, if you've not seen it, go back and watch it. I think it was great. And then obviously the number one match in AEW women's wrestling history. There's only one. We all know it. For Dynamite, episode 73, March 17th, 2021. Lights Out. Thunder Rosa versus Dr. Britt Baker. I give this match 4.5. At that time, and even today, it is one of the best women's, scratch that, one of the best wrestling matches ever. It was a 4.5 star. If you look at it compared to men's wrestling, that was top 14 matches all time. All time. Top 14 in AEW history. In 2,421 matches, that is the 14th best overall match. And honestly, some of the men's that were 4.5, that might have beat it. That's how great that match was. Thunder Rosa got the victory there. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, please go watch it. All right, the men's, like I said, I'm doing 13 because it's all the matches that I considered 4.5 or above. Now, all these star ratings are me and me alone. As I'm watching the show, I'm writing down my star rating. Some of these shows I did watch with the Pulse Dungeon with the fam, and we may have said, hey, you know, this is what I rated it. You know, the Pulse boys would be like, I like this, or I did this, you know, or hey, you're right, you know, whatever. And I always went with what I thought, you know, wrote down. We discussed it, and, you know, sometimes it's higher or lower. But, all right, number 13, Revolution 2020, the AEW Tag Team Champions on the line, Championship on the line. Champions, the Elite, Adam Page, Kenny Omega versus the Young Bucks. Omega and Page retained, 4.5. Number 12, Dynamite, episode 21. On February 26, 2020, a 30-minute Iron Man match. Kenny Omega versus Pac. I didn't write down the winner, but if I remember correctly, this was a time limit draw. Wasn't it? Hold on, let me look, because for some reason I did not write down the winner of this. Alright, I just got to pull it up here real quick, because for some reason I did not write down the winner, which, now that I think about it, I thought there had to be a winner on that match. I like when I try to look something up really quick and I don't. So I'm going to go to a site here real quick. A lot of these I will go to profightdb.com. That's profightdb.com to get a lot of the, when I'm looking for stuff like this real quick. So that was February 2020. Okay, February 2020, Pac. Okay, Kenny Omega did get the victory there in that 30-minute. It was a 30-minute Iron Man match. It wasn't a time limit draw. So Omega got the victory there. I give that 4.5. I thought it was a phenomenal match. Number 11 on the list comes from Dynamite episode 66, January 6, 2021. AEW World Heavyweight Title line. Champion Kenny Omega versus Rey Fenix. Rey Fenix, part of the Lucha Brothers. Great match, 4.5 star. Just the Kenny Omega, just that hybrid wrestler who can mat wrestle. He can jump if he needs to, fly if he needs to, but he's just kind of the overall 5-tool player. Rey Fenix, more the high flying. And so when you're able to stop a high flyer and be as good as Kenny Omega is, 4.5 star, unbelievable. Number 10 on the list comes from Double or Nothing 2019, brother versus brother. Cody versus Dustin. I just noticed I do not have the Young Bucks versus the Rhodes Brothers on here. I'll have to look that up and see what I gave that, because that was one of the great matches too. So number 10, Double or Nothing 2019, Cody Rhodes versus Dustin Rhodes. Dustin Rhodes' best match of his career, one of Cody's best matches ever, 4.5 star. Cody getting the victory there. And then we all know what came of that. They embraced afterwards. The Young Bucks came out. We had Young Bucks versus Rhodes Brothers at the next pay-per-view. All right, All Out 2019 is number 9 on the list. Pac versus Kenny Omega. Pac getting the victory, 4.5 star. Number 8 on this list, Dynamite episode 115, December 5th, 2021. AEW title. Bryan Danielson versus champion Adam Page. 60-minute time limit draw. 4 3/4 star match. People were like, how can you give a time limit draw match with no winner that high of a star rating? I've seen 5+ for some people. I give it 4 3 because there was no winner. If there would have been a winner, it would have been 5. Good God, it's one of the best matches in AEW history. Come on now. I only put it 8. I put it at the very bottom of the 4 3/4 star matches because there was no winner. Now, there's one other match on here that is higher, but it's a higher star rating, but there's also no winner. Y'all know what that is probably? Yeah, you're probably right. Number 7 comes out, Double or Nothing 2021, the World Tag Titles. Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston teaming up versus the Young Bucks. The Bucks of Young getting the victory. 4 3/4 star match. Eddie Kingston, holy hell, dude. That's probably Eddie Kingston's best match of his career. We know what Moxley's all about. We know what the Young Bucks are. But yeah, dominant performance there. 4 3/4 star. Number 6 comes from Full Gear 2021. AEW World Heavyweight title on the line. Champion Kenny Omega, the cleaner, versus Adam Hangman Page. Yes, this is the one where Hangman was able to beat Kenny Omega for the title. 4 3/4 star match. Number 5, Full Gear 2019, the first ever AEW Lights Out match. Because of what happened in Double or Nothing when Jon Moxley came in and attacked Kenny Omega, we had Kenny Omega versus Jon Moxley. Holy snapping hell, this match was good. Kenny Omega, 4 3/4 star victory over Jon Moxley. Number 4, Dynamite, episode 103, September 22nd, 2021. 30-minute time limit draw. Bryan Danielson versus Kenny Omega, 5 star. I went 5 star on this because it was 30 minutes of pure freaking action. It was one of those matches where you're watching the clock going, they can't do a draw. They can't do a draw. There's no way this is going to be a draw. They're going to get the victory at 29:59. And then when you didn't get that victory, you're like, oh my God, I want more. The 60-minute Iron Man match between, a 60-minute time limit draw with Page and Danielson, it drugged something. It wasn't, you weren't wanting more, you just wanted an outcome. This match, 30 minutes, you wanted more. You wanted another 30 minutes. You wanted to see these two go and tear it apart see what they could do for another 30 minutes. I give it 5 star. Thought it was a great match. Now, one thing that AEW's kind of built themselves on is their tag division. The next 3 matches are all tag titles, which is incredible. Number 3 comes from Double or Nothing 2019 for the AAA tag titles. We know there's a relationship between AAA and AEW. Note the FTR is AAA Tag Team Champions. This was the Young Bucks AAA Tag Team Championships versus the Lucha Brothers. The Young Bucks got the victory. I gave it 5 star. That was the first 5 star match for me in AEW history. Number 2 comes from All Out 2021 for the AEW tag titles in a steel cage match. Champion, the Young Bucks, versus the Lucha Brothers. The Lucha Bros took the AEW tag titles from the Young Bucks. 5 star classic. And then the greatest match in AEW history at this point, 3-year history. All Out 2019. AAA tag titles on the line in a ladder match. Champion, the Lucha Bros versus the Young Bucks. 5 star. I will not rate above 5. 5 star. Boom. So those 4 5-star matches to me are the best matches in AEW history. All right, as on the 1st, today's the 3rd, but on the 1st we celebrated the 3-year anniversary, so that's why I had to do it 3 days in. 3-year anniversary of AEW. We start the new generation of AEW on TBS tomorrow night. What is 2022 going to bring for AEW? More ratings, more stars. I want them to keep doing what they're doing. I want to build this brand up in 5 years, 10 years. I want to look back and say, you know what? I've watched every single match of AEW. They've all been pretty damn good. All right, that's going to wrap up the AEW 3rd anniversary show. As always, thanks for watching the Robert Sports Show. Don't just have a great day. Have a spiffy day. Robert Sports Show, your YouTube leader in sports content.